Welcome to this week's box office breakdown. We are diving into the weekend top 10 of January 17 to 2019, the biggest hits and everything you need to know about the world of box office. Let's get started. First up, we have the top 10. Let's take a look at how the weekend played out. We will start with the number 1 of this weekend, that was Mufasa the Lion King. It was an impressive 11.7 million in its fifth weekend, topping 18% from last weekend. Its running total is now 205.9 million. At number 2 is new release One of Them Days from Sony. It cost 11.6 million in its debut. At number 3 is the second debut of this week, which is Wolfman with 10.9 million. At number 4 we have Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with 8.6 million in its fifth weekend. It dropped 24% from last weekend. Its total is now 216.5 million. Number 5 is Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. It cost 6.6 million in its second weekend, dropping 56% from last week. Its total is now 26.2 million. Number 6 to 10. At 6th place we have Moana 2. It cost 5.9 million in its 8 weekends, dropping just 10% from last weekend. Its total is now 442.6 million. At number 7 we have Nosferatu with 4.50 million in its fourth weekend. It dropped 40% from last weekend. Its total is now 89.3 million. At number 8 we have Complete Unknown with 3.7 million in its fourth weekend, dropping 28% from last weekend. Its total is now 57.5 million. Number 9 is Wicked with 3.59 million in its ninth weekend, dropping 30% from last week. Its total is now 464.5 million. And number 10 is Baby Girl with 2.02 million in its fourth weekend, dropping 34% from last weekend. Its total is now 25.4 million. This year's top opener remains Den of Thieves 2 Pantera from last week with 15 million, but the two new debuts One of Them Days and Wolfman are now at number 2 and 3. Last week's Game Changer is at number 4 with 2.06 million, and The Damned is at 769k. And here's how the weekend shaped up per theater. I'm Still Here led the pack with a per theater average of 22.7k in just 5 theaters. Number 2 was The Brutalist with 5.86k in its 338 theaters. Number 3 was One of Them Days with 4.34k. It's 2,675 theaters. Number 4 was new release Dick XX with 4.01k in just 3 theaters. And lastly, at number 5 is Mufasa the Lion King with 3.29k in its 3,555 theaters. This year's top per theater average remains from extremely unique dynamic with 38.2k in just one theater. Per theater average of this week from I'm Still Here is now at number 4, with The Brutalist at number 2 and 5, and Every Little Thing with 25.7k at number 3 in just one theater. Taking a closer look at the full weekend chart, we can see that we are above the averages of 2021 to 2024, but we are also way below the averages of 2015 to 2019. We can hope that when Captain America Brave New World debuts, we are closer to the red line than to the green line. Now let's check out the studio pie chart. Here's the breakdown of how studios are performing this year. We can see that Disney is still the biggest with 37.3%. Universal is at number 2 with 21.2%, and Paramount at number 3 at 18.9%. Lionsgate is now quite big, but Sony and Warner Bros. Will climb up this chart. Next up, we will look at some domestic box office rankings from studios. First we have Nosferatu. It passed Brokeback Mountain to be the third highest grossing movie domestically for Focus Features movies. Next up we have A Complete Unknown. It's now the 9th highest grossing movie domestically for Searchlight Pictures. It passed 12 Years a Slave, and it will climb up this chart and probably be at number 5 or 6 next week. After its 9th weekend, Wicked is now the 3rd highest grossing movie domestically for Universal, surpassing E.T. It is now a 464 million gross domestically, and it will stay at number 3 because it won't get to number 2, whereas the Super Mario Bros. Movie is with 575 million, and Jurassic World remains on top with 653 million. Here's the domestic top 10 of 2024. When there are more releases in 2025, we will look at those. For now, it's just the 2024 one. Number 1 is Inside Out 2 with 652.9 million. Number 2, close behind, is Deadpool and Wolverine with 636.7 million. Number 3 is Wicked with 464.5 million. And behind that is Moana 2 with 442.8 million. 5th place is Despicable Me 4 with 361.0 million. Number 6 is Beetlejuice with 294.1 million. Number 7 is Doom Part 2 with 282.1 million. Twisters is at number 8 with 267.8 million. And the new movies on this list are Sonic the Hedgehog 3 at number 9 with 216.5 million. And at number 10 is Mufasa the Lion King with 205.8 million. On the international stage, these films are leading the charts. Mufasa the Lion King secured the top spot again with an impressive 20.3 million. Its international total is now 382.2 million. At number 2 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with 15.2 million. Its international total is now 203.5 million. Number 3 is the Chinese release Octopus with Broken Arms with 8.05 million, with a total of 109.9 million. Number 4 is still Moana 2 with 7.9 million. Its international total is now 567.1 million. Number 5 is Nosferatu with 7.65 million, and its international total is now 66.2 million. When combining the international chart with the domestic chart, we get the worldwide top 5. Mufasa Lion King is again number 1 with 31.8 million for a global total of 588 million. Number 2 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with 23.8 million for a global total of 419.9 million. At number 3 we have Moana 2 with 13.9 million for a global total passing the 1 billion mark with 1.010 billion. Number 4 is Nosferatu with 11.9 million for a global total of 155.6 million. And lastly we have solely the domestic gross of One of Them Days with 11.6 million. Next up we have the franchise updates. Mufasa the Lion King officially passed Cinderella and The Little Mermaid to be the 7th highest grossing Disney live action adaptation. It will probably not pass Maleficent, but it will stay here at number 7. And after its 5th weekend, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is now the highest grossing movie of the Sonic franchise, surpassing both the first and second Sonic movie. And after its 8th weekend, Moana 2 is now the 4th movie from Walt Disney Animation Studios that passed the 1 billion mark. It's now also at number 4 on the global box office ranking. It will probably surpass Zootopia soon, and then it stays at number 3. After its 8th weekend, Moana 2 is now the 8th highest grossing movie of the 2020s, surpassing Jurassic World Dominion's 1.004 billion. It will stay number 8. It will not surpass Deadpool and Wolverine. And let's see what this year brings and how Avatar, Fire and Ash will do on this chart. When looking at global box office rankings of studios, we can now see that Nosferatu is at number 7 as the 7th highest grossing movie globally for Focus Features. It will soon surpass Johnny English Strikes Again and probably also Burn After Reading to be the 5th highest grossing movie for Focus Features. Now let's wrap up with the top 10s worldwide. At number 1 we have Inside Out 2 with a massive 1.698 billion. At number 2 is Deadpool and Wolverine with 1.338 billion. Number 3 is now Moana 2 with 1.010 billion, the third billion dollar grossing movie of 2024, and all 3 of them are from Disney. Number 4 is Despicable Me 4 with 969.4 million. Number 5 is for now Doom Part 2 with 714.4 million. But at number 6 is Wicked with 708.6 million, so it will probably surpass Doom Part 2 in next week or the week after. Number 7 is now Mufasa the Lion King with 588 million. It surpassed both number 8 Godzilla x Kong The New Empire's 571.8 million and Kung Fu Panda 4's 547.7 million. Number 10 is YOLO with 481.2 million. And the question now is, will Sonic the Hedgehog 3 make enough money to be on this last spot? Looking at horror movies of 2024, at number 1 we have Alien Romulus with 315.9 million. Number 2 is A Quiet Place Day 1 with 261.8 million. And now at number 3 is Nosferatu with 155.6 million. It passed Smile 2 at number 4 at 138.1 million. Number 5 is Longlegs with 126.9 million. Number 6 is Exhuma with 93.9 million. With number 7 is Terrifier 3 with 89.7 million. The Substance is at number 8 with 78.1 million. Speak No Evil at number 9 with 76.8 million. And number 10 is Night Swim with 54.8 million. Looking ahead, here are the movies and shows coming your way. Starting on Wednesday, January 22nd, is the Season 1 premiere of Prime Target on Apple TV+. It is produced by Ridley Scott and stars Leah Woodall. It's about a postgraduate mathematics student who discovers an effort being made to destroy his work in finding a pattern in prime numbers that would allow him to access every computer in the world. On Thursday, The Night Agent Season 2 releases on Netflix. It stars Gabriel Besso. It's about an FBI agent which is thrown in a conspiracy about a mole at the highest levels of the United States government. And on Friday, January 24th, is the second episode of the second season of Severance on Apple TV+. The show is created by Dan Erickson and stars Adam Scott, about employees of a fictional corporation, Lumen, who agree to a severance program in which his non-work memories are separated from his work memories. Also, the movie which was first announced as a series, Star Trek Section 31, starring Michelle Yeoh, releases on Paramount+. And now the 2 movies releasing in theaters are Flight Risk, directed by Mel Gibson and starring Mark Wahlberg. It's about a US Marshal that escorts a government witness to trial after he is accused of getting involved with a mob boss, only to discover that the pilot who is transporting them is also a hitman that had been sent to assassinate the informants. And lastly, Inheritance, starring Phoebe Dynevor. It's about a young woman drawn into an international conspiracy after discovering her father is a spy. That's it for this week's box office breakdown. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment for all the latest updates. And I will see you next time.